Good morning. This is Robert Goodman here on Positive Stroke, Staying Clean. And today we're going to talk about acceptance. Accepting how other people live their lives. You know, in my active addiction, when people would come to me and say, you know what, you shouldn't be doing that. You should be ashamed of yourself. I would totally block them out. I wouldn't even entertain what they're saying to me. I couldn't even hear what they're saying to me. I would go medicate myself so I wouldn't have to hear what they're sharing with me. But what happened was when I came into recovery and people would say, Robbie, just try to stay clean just for today. Try it out. Nobody forced anything on me. Try our way. We suggest this. This is what happened to me. That's why I'm here. And it made me feel like I'm like them. But they're not judging me. They're not looking down on me. You know, when I was in my active addiction, people that would point the finger at me, I would get mad and upset. Them talking down to me. And I would get a vengeful attitude with them people. And then I would look at them and say, I'm going to take what they have. They don't deserve to have it. I should have it. And I was looking at things in the wrong way because I was hurt by the things they shared and said to me. So in my recovery, I learned something different. Things were suggested to me. People were sharing what went wrong in their lives, the mistakes they made and how they overcame them, which caused me to listen and learn from their mistakes, to try a new way of living. And I did that by working the program of recovery because no one judged me for who I was. So what recovery taught me was that I must learn to accept the things I cannot change, that are people, places, or things. I cannot change someone for feeling or thinking or doing the things that they do. That is up to them. But if I understand my life and the way I've lived my life, I understand that the choices that they're making is not going to end up good for them. But what I can do is be an example to myself and others by my walk that I hope will change their behavior, that they will learn something from my walk. Now, you've heard this before. You know you shouldn't be doing this. I know. What's wrong with you? Are you crazy? You letting them get away with that? What? That's not you. That's being judgmental. And when you come at a person like that, what happens is they shut down. They don't hear a word you're saying. From the time you raised your voice, they've shut down. And nothing that you say is getting through. If anything, they're going to have an attitude with you. They're going to do exactly the opposite of what you're saying because you shamed them, you hurt them by your words. And you're not helping them find their way to live their best lives, to overcome their situation that they're facing in their lives. They have to find out what works for them and how they should overcome their own situations. That's the only way they can get better. in my recovery, the only way that I got better is keep the focus on Robert, work on my faults, my failures, the bad choices that I made in my life, and learn from them to make my life better. But if I'm pointing the finger at the mistakes that these people are making, they're not going to hear me. I cannot change people, places, or things, but I can change myself. And how I can change myself to approach people that are hurting is being an example by my walk and the way I live my life. That's all that I can do. And the interesting thing is that most people, when they see that their way is not working and they see how you walk your life, they may come to you and ask you for help. But if you're talking down to them, or you're raising your voice, or you're being upset about their situation, then they're not going to come to you because you make them feel ashamed. And you don't want that. Recovery taught me that, Robert, you've made a lot of mistakes in your life. You are an imperfect person. Everybody's an imperfect person. You have no control over people, places, or things. And by me understanding that and knowing that, then I cannot tell somebody else how to live their lives because I haven't walked a mile in their shoes. I have not experienced the pain and hurt that they've experienced in their lives the way they have. They're unique in what their life has produced by the things that has happened to them. And the interesting thing that there's a lot of things that happen to people that you'll never know about because they keep it close to their hearts. The pain and the remorse of the things that hurt them deeply, they're ashamed about it. They keep it close to their hearts because they don't want you to know the bad things or the bad choices that they made. I didn't want people to know the bad choices and the things I made. But recovery told me I had to get rid of the wreckage of my past. I had to let go and let a power greater than me restore me to sanity. I had to make my bad situations publicly and not carry them by myself. And by me sharing these things that are so painful to me, made me be able to live with these things and these choices that happen in my life. And made me able to make better choices, better decisions about my life. And to look at my situation honestly and openly. I remember when a gentleman came to me and he was sharing his pain and everything, and he asked me what he should do. And all I could say to him that I wanted it to work, to give him sound information, was you have to find out what works for you. You have to overcome your situations, your issues in your life. What works for me may not work for you. So you have to look at yourself honestly and openly. You have to let go of the most painful things that has happened to you and find out how they affected you and why you made the choices that you made in your life to cause these issues to happen. You must learn about yourself, just like Robert has learned about himself. And by me learning about myself, I make better choices and better decisions about myself. When I look at myself honestly and openly of the choices that I made and the things that has happened to me, and understand what part I played in each situation honestly and openly, then I learn how to overcome these mistakes. I understand where I'm weak at. where I need to get strong. I must understand that I have to change my life. And I don't want to change it because I don't know what tomorrow is going to bring by walking down a new path. I understood when I came from addiction to recovery, it was scary because I didn't know where it was going to lead me. And the more I stay in recovery, I don't know where it's going to lead me. But my life gets better. That's all I can say. My life gets better. But I do not know where it's going to lead me. But it's better than my addiction life. It's better than my past. But I do not know where it's going to lead me. But my life is better. And the more I stay in recovery, the more I'm willing to keep going down the path in recovery to find out how better my life is going to be and the choices that my life is going to bring. That fear of not knowing subsides. And the funny thing is that in my addiction, I thought that I needed to know what the hell was going on. That I need to know each step afterwards so I could protect myself. But what I was doing was wrecking myself because I was still driving the car. I was still driving the car. And I drove the car for 40 years, which kept me in active addiction. I have to give up driving the car, meaning that I have to go down in the road of recovery, not knowing where it's going to lead me, but it's going to make my life better because my life is getting better one day at a time, overcoming one situation at a time. Recovery went to days, to weeks, to months, to years. And my life has gotten better. But also, recovery has just shown me just how fucked up I was, how messed up my mind was, and how much damage was done to me by the trauma that was experienced in my life and the things that I've done to others. That I had to change my behavior. I had to change my way of thinking. I had to change my view of things. I had to do a 360. And as I stay clean and sober each and every day, my life is getting better because I'm learning more about myself. And the more I learn about myself, the better person I become. And it's the same for people that we love and we care about. They must find their own way to live their best lives. We can be an example to these people that we love by how we carry ourselves, and not to make them feel ashamed about their predicament or their situation, but show them love and concern to let them know you can find your way. You can do this. I know what you're made of. You can do this. I'm rooting for you. I'm rooting for you to find out what works for you. I cannot change people, places, or things, but I can change Robin. You can't change people, places, or things, but you can change yourself. You can have the power and the wisdom and the understanding to try something new and not be afraid of where it's going to lead you. Because you've been in this own situation for a very long time, you feel comfortable. You feel comfortable in the pain. I know I was in addiction for 40 years. I was comfortable in the pain. I was uncomfortable of getting arrested and going to jail because I had dope. I was comfortable of having aggravated assault charges. I was comfortable with this. I was comfortable hurting people because I lived that life. I knew what would happen. But recovery, I didn't know what was going to happen, which made it fearful, scary, because I didn't know. And what recovery taught me is that, Robert, we're going to teach you about yourself. You're gonna find out what works for you and how you can live your best life. And that's what it did. And I'm constantly growing, learning more about myself and how things affect me. And that's the same for people that we love that are going through pain and misery. They have to find their own way. But we can be an example by our walk. We can be an example to say, we hope you find your way. We hope you overcome this situation. We love you. We hate to see you suffer. But you have to find out what works for you and what's good for you. And what's good for me is that I have to go down a path I know nothing about. I have to not be afraid of the unknown, to try to find something that's better than what I'm doing. And my life will get better. So, acceptance. We must accept that people that we love and we care about are going through issues until they find their way to overcome their situation, until they find their way to live their best life, until they learn how to overcome what's going on with them. It's entirely up to them. But what we can do is stand tall by our walk. We can show love and consideration by being there, by listening. And when they ask for advice, we can give it. But if they don't ask for it, we don't give it. We wait until they're ready, because it's up to them to find their way to live their best lives. And that's the best way that we can approach this situation that will keep a sound relationship together with that person, that they'll always be connected with you. But if you shouldn't have been, I don't know why you put up with that. I wouldn't put up with that. And when we do that, shame, hurt come into play. And then people may listen in, but then you may not hear from them for a while. They might not share what's going on with them because they're ashamed of their situation, that they made bad choices. But when we say, just like in the beginning in recovery, we'll love you until you can love yourself. We're here for you. We're here to support you to find your way to live your best life. We're here to support you, for you to look at yourself to overcome what's been going on with you to make your life better. We can't do it. It's up to you to do it for yourselves. And that's the only way a person stays clean and sober. That's the only way. And the most important thing is that, and I share this from my heart, you can have 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, 40 years. Having that amount of time is only good to let the newcomer know that the program works. You can have that, but that's it. That's all that time has. But all you have is today. You got to keep the focus on this day. Keep yourself clean and sober today. Not what you've done in the past, not how much you've accomplished in the past, but you got to keep the focus on today. Because if we put all our attention on all the time that we have, we think we know everything. You don't know what you're talking about. I've been clean for 40 years. You don't know nothing. And we shut down. And then when a situation comes and overwhelms us, and we pick up, then the shame hits us so hard because we had 10, 20, 30, 40 years, and we gave it all up. Why? Because we didn't keep the focus on today. 24 hours today, 24 hours today. And then when today's over with, we work on tomorrow. If we stay clean and sober this 24 hours, that means tomorrow we'll start the day clean and sober. And that's how the program works. But if we get bogged up or, I got 10 years, I know what I'm talking about. You don't know nothing about recovery. Then you're going to lose what you work for. You're going to lose what you work for. We're all imperfect people, and we all make mistakes. I learned in recovery that I got to pay attention to myself and my actions all the time, because it's so easy for me to slip and fall victim to addiction again. So the point for today is acceptance. Accept that you have no control over people, places, or things, but you have control over yourself. It's up to each individual to learn how to find their way in recovery to live their best lives. We can be an example to others and ourselves by our walk in recovery. This is Robert Goodman here for Positive Stroke, Staying Clean, wishing you a great and wonderful day. And understand this, that you are the most important person to yourself. Only you can live your best life if you keep the focus on yourself, because you are the most important person to yourself. And when you keep the focus on yourself, you're in a position to help others by your walk and standing tall in your recovery. You have a great day. Remember, it's Friday, and I know it's the weekend. And remember, be careful, be safe. And remember, if you need some motivation, go to Fun and Motivational on YouTube by Robert Goodman. Fun and Motivational. It'll keep you positive and in the right frame of mind about your recovery. You have a great day.